Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're really diving into a profoundly sensitive topic and a very serious one. We
Absolutely.
have a set of sources here addressing, well, an incredibly difficult situation. When a husband leaves Islam,
hmm
you, our listener, have brought us these truly impactful materials. And our mission, really, in this deep dive is to pull out the clearest, most important bits of guidance from them.
Yeah, the core insights.
Exactly. We're focusing on how a wife navigates this. I mean, her faith, her marriage, her emotional well-being,
Hmm.
it's all on the line.
And what's really striking, is how the guidance in these sources is presented. It's incredibly clear, and it's very specifically designed to protect core aspects of a Muslim woman's life.
Her faith, primarily.
Her faith, yes,
Yeah.
and then also the sanctity of that marital bond, but within Islamic principles, of course.
Right. So, given how serious this is, the sources jump right into a central, really pressing question. Anyone in this situation would ask this first.
What happens to intimacy?
Exactly.
No.
Can a wife refuse intimacy if her husband declares he's no longer Muslim?
And the answer, based on the consensus of Islamic scholars in these sources, it's unequivocal.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah, she can refuse. Or yes, she must refuse.
Yes, she must. That's a pivotal insight here. The moment a husband declares he's left Islam, that's apostasy, the marriage contract itself, the nikah, it's immediately invalid, rendered void.
Wow. Immediately.
Immediately. This isn't just, a suggestion or an option. It means intimacy, which was permissible, halal, it instantly becomes prohibited.
Ah.
Haram. It's a fundamental shift in the legal status of the relationship. It's not about choosing to punish him or her feelings about it even. It's a required action. She has to avoid participating in a relationship that Islam no longer considers lawful.
Because a Muslim woman simply cannot be married to a non-Muslim man.
Precisely. That's the bedrock principle.
Okay, that's a very clear, very immediate answer. But to really grasp the weight of that, we need the foundation. Why is it so definitive? Where do the sources point first for that evidence?
Absolutely. You go straight to the Quran. It's quite explicit that this kind of marriage isn't permissible. One key verse, it's from Surah Al-Mumtahanah, that translates to she who is to be examined. Verse 60, verse 10.
Okay. What was the context there?
Well, it was revealed about a very specific situation. Women who had become Muslim in Makkah and then migrated to Medina, leaving their non-Muslim husbands behind.
Right.
And the verse says, essentially, O believers, when believing women come as immigrants, test them. Allah knows their faith. If you know they are believers, don't return them to the disbelievers. And here's the key part. They are not lawful for them, nor are they the disbelievers lawful for them.
Not lawful for them,
Yeah.
nor are they lawful for them. That sounds pretty final.
It is. It's unequivocal. So if a husband leaves Islam, he falls into that category disbelievers, and the marriage becomes unlawful according to this verse.
So Surah Al-Mumtahanah is quite definitive on that specific migration context, but the principle applies more broadly. Are there other passages reinforcing this?
Yes, absolutely. There's another crucial verse in Surah Al-Baqarah, the cow, verse 2.221. Now, its main focus is on entering into marriage, starting a marriage, but scholars universally apply its principle to the continuation of marriage too.
Okay, what does it say?
It says, and do not marry polytheistic women until they believe. And do not marry polytheistic men to your women until they believe.
So it forbids marrying a non-believer in the first place.
Exactly. And the logic extends. If you can't initiate such a marriage, then if a husband becomes a non-believer later, well, the legal basis for that existing marriage is removed. It can't continue lawfully.
The Quran provides the absolute foundation. But sometimes, like you said, a real-world example really brings it home. What case do these sources highlight from the Prophet Muhammad's own life? Peace be upon him.
Yes, this is a really powerful illustration. It involves the Prophet's own daughter, Zaynab, and her husband, Abu Al-As ibn al-Rabi.
Okay.
So when the Prophet, peace be upon him, started receiving revelation, Zaynab accepted Islam. But her husband, Abu Al-As, he remained a polytheist at that time.
Right. So a difference in faith within the marriage.
Exactly. And when Zaynab later migrated to Medina, the Prophet, peace be upon him, separated them.
He separated his own daughter from her husband.
Yes, because a Muslim woman could not lawfully remain married to her non-Muslim husband. This separation, it was strictly enforced. It wasn't optional.
Wow. That must have been incredibly painful for everyone involved, I imagine. What happened in the end? Did they reconcile?
It certainly was a huge test. Years passed. Then eventually, Abu Al-As came to Medina. and he accepted Islam.
Oh, okay.
And only then did the Prophet, peace be upon him, return Zaynab to him.
So they got back together.
Yes. And this is narrated in a hadith, a tradition recorded in Jami at Tirmidhi. The companion Ibn Abbas reported it. He said, the Prophet returned his daughter Zaynab to Abu Alas bin Arabi after 6 years upon the basis of the first marriage, and he did not perform a new marriage.
After 6 years?
Yeah.
Based on the first marriage, no new contract needed?
Correct. And that hadith gives us two really crucial insights. First, the physical separation was mandatory because of the faith difference.
Okay.
And second, the marriage bond itself was considered to be in this unique state, sort of suspended.
Suspended, like on hold.
Exactly. It wasn't completely dissolved, but it wasn't active. It was waiting. This allowed them to reunite once he embraced Islam without needing a whole new nikah.
That idea of a marriage being on hold or suspended, that's a really striking concept. Okay, so we have the Quran. We have this powerful example from the Prophet's life. Let's bring it to today. For someone facing this right now, what do these sources say are the practical steps? It sounds like there's a clear approach based on scholarly guidance.
Indeed. The sources lay it out quite methodically. The very first step for the wife, it's about verification. Gently.
Gently verify. What does that mean?
It means she needs to calmly, non-confrontationally, try to understand if he really meant it. Was it said in anger, a moment of frustration? Or is he genuinely serious about leaving Islam? That initial clarification is vital. You don't jump to conclusions.
Okay, so first verify.
Mm-hmm.
Then, if it is serious, you mentioned the immediate stop to intimacy. What else?
Right. Once she confirms he's serious about rejecting Islam, she must immediately cease all marital intimacy. Full stop. And she should calmly explain why that her faith doesn't allow intimacy with a non-Muslim husband because their marriage is now invalid in Allah's sight.
That sounds incredibly difficult conversation to have.
Unimaginably difficult, but necessary according to the guidance. After this, the scholars state she should observe a waiting period. It's similar to the iddah after divorce.
The iddah. How long is that usually?
Typically, it's 3 menstrual cycles. And here's the absolutely critical point about this waiting period. If the husband returns to Islam during this specific period, the marriage can just resume. No new contract needed. It snaps back into place, so to speak.
Back to that idea of suspension.
Exactly. But, and this is a big but, if that waiting period ends, 3 cycles pass, and he has not returned to Islam, then the marriage is definitively, irrevocably annulled. Finished. She's free to marry someone else if she chooses.
Definitive and irrevocable. That's a heavy finality after the waiting period. This sounds like an overwhelming amount to handle alone. Legally complex, emotionally devastating. Is there a support system mentioned? Resources?
Oh, absolutely. And this is maybe the most critical, practical step emphasized in the sources. She must seek urgent help.
Urgent help from whom?
From a trusted Islamic scholar or an imam. This is not something to navigate solo. It's too complex, too sensitive. She needs to contact the imam at her local mosque or another scholar she trusts. The sources even give examples, like well-known mosques or institutions where people seek this kind of guidance. It underscores the importance of reaching out locally.
What kind of help can they provide?
Several things. Confidential, one-on-one counseling, which is vital. They might be able to speak with the husband if he's willing. They can guide her through the specific Islamic legal steps required. And importantly, they can connect her with community support. She shouldn't feel isolated during this.
That community support sounds crucial. So beyond the legal steps, the waiting period, seeking help, what's the ultimate sort of personal priority for the wife here in the midst of all this turmoil?
Her primary duty, above everything else the sources stress, is to protect her own connection with Allah, her iman, her faith.
Focusing inward.
Yes. This situation is undoubtedly going to be emotionally shattering. The guidance advises her to increase her acts of worship, more prayer, more reading of the Quran, and to make sincere dua, personal supplication, praying for herself, for strength, for clarity, and also for her husband, asking Allah to guide him back.
Praying for him even in this situation.
Yes. Hope for guidance is always there. And also, crucially, she needs to ensure her own safety, physical and emotional safety. That's paramount. Her well-being and her faith must come first.
Wow. This has been an incredibly thorough and I think sensitive deep dive into what is just a profoundly challenging personal situation. We've really unpacked the guidance available from that immediate religious obligation about intimacy
the invalidity of the marriage.
to that really unique concept of a suspended marriage during the waiting period.
Yes, the iddah.
And the absolute imperative to seek scholarly support immediately, It really feels like a clear roadmap, even if the road itself is incredibly difficult.
It is, and if we just maybe connect this to the bigger picture for a moment, this whole situation, it really highlights this profound intersection, doesn't it, between personal conviction, religious law, and just the resilience of the human spirit navigating these huge life changes.
Sure.
And it raises, I think, an important question for you, the listener, to reflect on. How does one balance that deep personal faith with the evolving realities of a relationship? And what does it really mean conceptually for a bond like marriage to be suspended in this very specific legal and spiritual way?
Yeah, that idea that a marriage can be held in this state of suspension, waiting, hoping for a potential return to faith. That's a truly striking concept we pull from these sources today. It really invites you to think about the nature of commitment within these religious frameworks and the profound weight of a person's declaration about their own faith or lack thereof.
It's heavy stuff.
It really is. Thank you for bringing us these incredibly rich, though difficult, sources for our deep dive today.